Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting outrageous toy review. It's time for some more Silverhawks! We are taking a look at Steelwill and Steelheart today. We're doing the twins as a twofer. So we're taking a look at Steelwill and Steelheart together. These characters were twins on the show. They had a bond where they could sort of psychically sense each other. They were both mechanics, and they were the strongest members of the team. And they're more metal than they are real compared to the rest of the Silverhawks. The Silverhawks show had that tagline, partly metal, partly real. All of the characters were given augmentation to make them withstand travel in space in the first episode. There was some sort of malfunction involving the hearts of Steelwill and Steelheart during the surgery, and they had to be given artificial hearts. Sergeant Emily Hart and Sergeant Will Hart, now being called Steelwill and Steelheart, was even more fitting with them having mechanical hearts. In the cartoon show, Steelheart was voiced by Maggie Wheeler, while Steelwill was voiced by Bob McFadden. The majority of these two figures are covered in vac metal plastic. It's a bluish gunmetal, so they're darker than Quicksilver, but less blue than Bluegrass. Steelheart was the lone female on the team. She features those pop-out wings like the rest of the gang, and looks great in her vac metal hairdo there. Quicksilver's head always looked like a hawk-shaped helmet. Steelheart's hair looks like a hairdo. Like all the characters in line, she has flesh paint on her face and her one arm. This sample has a little bit of paint rub on her nose, which is very common. And like everybody else, she also has a tampoed Silverhawks logo on her chest in green. I don't see too many Steelhearts around. This one has a little bit of flaking in her vac metal, and you can see that her body is actually blue underneath there, as opposed to the yellowish colored plastic that the silver and gold characters are often made out of. Steelwill is the biggest and bulkiest character on the team. He has those spring-loaded wings as well. You'll notice how his metal on his head comes all the way down to his neck, making this seem, again, more like a helmet than a hairstyle. It's an interesting choice on the female figure. He's got the tampoed Silverhawks logo on his chest, and he's got one flesh-colored arm and a flesh-colored face. He has far more of his arm exposed with that big bicep there, I guess to show kids that he's tough. Both figures feature removable wings. They have a peg that goes into their back and the small clips that go on their wrists. When you remove these, they look a little bit more show accurate for when they're walking around. But of course, putting these on and off can cause paint wear or wear on their vac metal. My Steelwill happens to have a little bit of paint rub on his hand. Perhaps this is from having him interact with some sort of an accessory, like his bird. Steelwill's action feature has been giving me a little bit of trouble while shooting this video, and I squeezed on his leg and it popped right off. I'm hoping that is not a permanent problem. Yikes. Ooh. Be careful with your Silverhawks, guys. Steelwill comes with a blue accessory bird called Stronghold. When you squeeze his wings together, his talons move out. This works great for pinching an object to pick it up. It's sort of an odd feature when it comes to trying to stick him on Steelwill's arm. He has kind of bigger, beefier talons than a lot of the figures, so be careful trying to put this on the figure. There was also a larger scale version of Stronghold made as a vehicle for these figures or possibly as a roleplay item for kids. Steelheart came with an accessory bird called Razor, and Razor's action feature is basically the wings that look like axe blades move in and out when you push on Razor's head. This is kind of similar to Tallyhawk's accessory feature, but they don't meet up front. Both figures are able to stand while their birds are perched on their arms. It does make it a little tricky, especially for Steelheart. She's a little bit more slender and has a narrower base with her feet there, and her bird is a little bit lighter, but still makes her kind of top heavy. In the 80s, it was popular to have twin characters who had some sort of ESP type connection with Steelheart and Steelwill, the Crimson Twins from G.I. Joe, and even Billy and Jimmy from the Double Dragon cartoon show. I didn't have either one of these figures new as a kid, but I did pick up a Steelwill at a flea market sometime after I was done with Silverhawks, probably a while after the show was over. But they're just such cool looking figures. I had a lot of fun with them, and I used them with other random toys, not really as a Silverhawk. I remember a kid in my kindergarten class had all the Hawks and the Mirage, and I just thought that that was the most incredible setup, and being extremely jealous of the fact that a kid had every character. In the show, both characters had flip-down visors when they would sprout their wings. This was a feature not built into these toys, but I always thought it was funny that Steelwill's visor looked like a football helmet face mask. Later on in the line, many characters were being reissued in ultrasonic suits. These were new versions that featured the flip-down visors and had less vac metal on them. Steelwill got an ultrasonic suit release, but Steelheart did not. I really did love the variety of scale in this line. Even though 4 of the 5 Hawks all had the exact same action feature, Quicksilver is a little bit more slender than the bulky Steelwill, Steelheart's a little more petite, and the Kid is the smallest of all. Did you own any Silverhawks figures back in the 80s? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.